Ta-da! And it's showtime. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Midday Show. Hello, I'm Longie Long. Very nice to be here. And I hope all is well in your world this morning. We have a guest and I'm very excited about it. So I'm going to do a couple of hellos. Who have we got watching? I'll tell you what, let's bring her straight on and do say hello in the comments if you'd like to say hi. Just there we go. Looking good. We have, ladies and gentlemen, go wild, go crazy. Florence Atchery. Which one?
Ashri. It's a French name, so it's difficult for British people to pronounce. Ashri.
Now, so say it again for me because you cut out there.
Ashri.
And where's your where are you from? Where's your accent from?
I am from the south of France. I'm from Marseille originally.
Yeah. Superb. And you are yoga retreats and more.
That's right.
You are well and truly into your yoga retreats, and I want to hear all about this morning.
Oh, great. Thank you, Neil. Yes, I organize and host yoga and wellness retreats, mainly in the UK, in Cumbria, because Cumbria is beautiful and it's on a doorstep. I also take groups to India, different parts of India, the Gambia. And right now, I am organizing a walking and yoga retreat to Northern Ireland.
So, why? How did it all come about? I mean, you obviously do this full time. It's obviously your full time job. So, what did you do before? Take us through the timeline, or have you always worked in the healing arts, shall we say?
No. Right. Oh, the beginning. Right. Okay. So about 25 years ago, I burnt out. I am an interior designer by trade, and I had my own studio. I was also a single mom, and I was working all hours, and somehow I burnt out. I went to my GP expecting antidepressants and maybe sleeping tablets. But instead, she told me, why don't you take up yoga? So that was in the late 90s. Yoga was not as popular as it is now.
No, it wasn't, was it?
Luckily for me, I'm in Southeast London, and luckily for me, there was a studio nearby in New Cross, which I joined. And it was love at first time. It wasn't easy, but I really, really loved it. And I was a regular participant every Saturday morning.
Sure.
A couple of years later, I discovered yoga retreats. I discovered that I could travel the world. I could go to lovely places as a solo traveler and somehow join a group, do some yoga, do some visits, make friends, etc. And I started going on retreats once a year for
Florence,
the next.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I've just noticed my power cable and we get disconnected. Bear with me. Retreats once a year. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry about that. And nothing happened. Retreats once a year, you were saying.
Yes. So I started going on retreats once a year. I would leave my son with my mother-in-law or with his dad. They were in North London. And I would treat myself to a week or 10 days on a retreat. That was my me time. That was me putting my oxygen mask on first. And in order to be a better mom, a better boss.
Now that's key, isn't it? That is key. Self-care.
Self-care
is number one.
Self-care is not selfish. Self-care
that's
is
the second time today I've used that phrase on the radio, actually. I'm talking to another lovely lady who's doing not dissimilar things, and it's imperative self-care. But so many people would put that as selfish, or they say, I haven't got time for self-care. Maybe we can dig into that a little bit more. But yeah.
Absolutely, we will, Neil. Very important. So, long story short, I started going on retreats once a year, and I've seen all kinds of retreats. retreats where it was five of us, pretty much left to our own device. Retreats where it was 42 of us. And at the end, I said goodbye to some people, knowing that I'd never had the time to talk to them
Mm.
because it was so many of us. Retreats where there were so many activities that I needed a holiday to get back over the retreat, you know, the kind. And I
Yeah.
started, and back in 2010, 2011, I started thinking to myself that I could do something much better. So, as well as being an interior designer, I've always been interested in travel and specifically group travel. And I would help one of my uncles in France organize group humanitarian trips to Eastern Europe. So I'm very, very good at organizing. So I thought I could put all of those skills together and do my own retreats. That was back in 2012, and then of course left. Life took over, and I never had the
Mm.
time to do anything about it. That's until 2020 and the first lockdown. I was just coming back from 2 weeks in India. Nobody wanted somebody to decorate their house. I couldn't
No.
visit guests, so I found myself. Sorry. So I found myself for a few months with no income, no job, a lot of time on my hands. And I thought, if I don't start this now, I never will. And I did. Of course, people laughed at me. People said, why would you organize group travel when we're not supposed to see anyone, when all the airports are closed, and so on and so forth? It seemed like a crazy idea at the time, but I knew that this awful time we were going through would pass eventually, and it
Mm.
did. And the first retreats happened in Cumbria in 2021, very successful. And I now do about between 8 and 10 retreats a year. And like I said previously, I take people to India, the Gambia, and I'm exploring new destinations. So
What's the
that's me in a
purpose?
nutshell.
What is the purpose of a retreat?
Right. Okay. The purpose of a retreat is to switch everything off.
Hmm.
So you can take a few days off at home. You cannot,
Including this, I would imagine.
including that. I do have some digital detox weekends,
Mm.
which are extremely popular. And right now, I'm organizing a parent and teenager digital detox retreat for next year. So yes, digital detox. So you could take some time off at work, but as you know, there is always something distracting you. Sometimes it's just let's put the washing machine on, or let's empty the dishwasher, or it's not
Or the cat
really,
wants something, or the kids want something, or
you're never really off, are you? If you're at home, you're always on, somehow.
I don't know
So,
anyone that's ever fully off. In
no,
the sense that you mean it. I mean, if I'm reading it right, this is a whole time period of literally just self care and being, rather than.
abso- absolutely. So, when you're on a retreat, technically, you should have your phone on silent or somewhere in a drawer, and you don't think of anything. Everything is done for you. There is
Mm.
no, what am I going to eat this evening? Or do I need to go and do some shopping? Or, it's all done for you. The food is prepared. You just sit down, enjoy your meal. All the activities are organized for you. Activities are optional. You don't have to participate to every single activity if you don't feel like it. And you meet new people, which is very, very interesting. You meet people that you would not otherwise meet,
Quite.
and you start having conversations that you never thought you would be having, and you listen to other people's stories.
Yeah.
Sometimes you relate, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you learn something new. And one important thing is that you share things that you may not be comfortable sharing with your family or your friends
Oh, that's interesting.
because there is no judging. So this is a bunch of strangers,
We do live in a very judgy world. Yeah.
and you may never see them again. So it's okay for you to say, actually, I'm thinking about having an affair because I'm not happy at home. Or I've had a guest say in front of 8 of us, I'm thinking of taking my life because I don't see the point of being here anymore.
Wow.
And when we probed her about it, she said she had not told her daughters because, of course, her daughters would be devastated, and also her daughters would stop her from doing something like that.
So
Of
how do you deal with something like that? Someone, I mean, because that's a hell of a burden on your shoulders. How, when someone comes out with something like that, if they're suicidally ideated, what do you do? How do you deal with that?
Well, there was a period of silence around the table. It was during one dinner, the second dinner I think we were having. I, for a split second, thought, oh my God, I'm completely out of my depth. Um, that was a for a split second. What we did, we literally offered her so much support, so
Yeah,
much love. She participated to all the activities, the
yeah.
yoga, the treks. I did a sound bath for her. We had a mandala drawing workshop. On the last night, she was the one laughing the loudest. And she said, we were around the fire pit, having a hot chocolate and sharing how the last few days had gone for us. And she said, I've never laughed so much not having had a bottle of wine beforehand. And we said, well, you see, you're drunk on life. You know, you're going to be okay. And as far as I know, that was 3 years ago. As far as I know, she's still here because we exchange a WhatsApp message about once or twice a year, like Happy
Amazing.
Christmas and Happy New Year. And
Yeah,
as far as I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
she's still here.
So,
Um,
so the transformation, certainly in some cases, can be very profound and very quick. Um, can be.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was getting herself out of. So she basically, long story short, she was living in the house where the love of her life, a second partner, the love of her life, I kind of passed away 6 months before she
Right.
joined. The retreat was a gift from her daughters. She didn't really want to come, but they kind of forced her to come, and here she was.
Hmm.
And so she was out of that situation. There was nothing in the house reminding her of him, of the love of her life. We didn't speak about him because, of course, we never knew him. Um, and she realized that other people also have issues, also have traumas. She was
Now,
also
this is
lost.
interesting. We say this so much on the show, that any kind of mental issue, you feel like you're the only one.
Yes,
Particularly, I've said that so many times, as our midday show family will know. You feel like you're isolated. You feel like you're the only one, which couldn't be further from the truth. But sometimes just to know that you're not, it doesn't solve the problem as such, but it's certainly a big first step towards a big step towards healing, isn't it?
absolutely. To realize there is support out there, and also to share. Like I said, you can share without fear of judgment
And
because
that's so important.
and that's super important. And you may not get that from friends, or you may not get that from family.
Mm.
Family may feel the need to say, oh, please stop it. You just get on with it and suffer in silence. Friends may start pointing out all the other good things in your life. What are you complaining about this? You also have this and this.
Mm.
But as strangers, you're a clean slate. We don't know you. So if you say, I've lost the love of my life and I don't see the point of carrying on, well, we believe you. And yeah, like I said, we don't judge because we all a little bit broken somehow, various degrees, but we all a little bit broken, I think.
Dr. Asa Don Brown is very big in the psychiatric community in the USA and Canada and always contributes wonderfully to this show. And I think you've answered quite a lot of this already, but he's worked as a speaker for many years and retreats one of his favorite aspects of the speaking world. Um, we've answered the question about what do you do when someone is suicidal, how do you manage it at the time and beyond. We've answered in our chat, but do you offer any clinical advice at the trainings or not?
No, I don't. I don't claim to be. No, I'm not. I have not. I'm not trained in that respect. So I would not. The only thing I could say to anyone is that life is beautiful, and this period you're in, this will pass.
Yeah.
Everything passes eventually, but when you're at the bottom of the hole, it's so dark and it's so deep, and you don't know how long it will last. Sometimes you can be okay the following day, sometimes it may take you a few weeks or a few months. It's a question of being patient, but it's not pleasant. And unfortunately, apart from saying these too shall pass, please bear with it. Unfortunately, I'm not trained to give advice.
No. Understood, and that would be
And
quite a
I
lot.
can only offer you love and patience, but yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. And of course, that's not particularly the purpose of a yoga retreat, I would say, but the non-judgmental sharing, the healing circle, if you like, that is very, very valuable. I remember I was in a down time. All I wanted to do was be around other people and share stories. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Just to not feel alone, even if they weren't similar. I mean, I wouldn't say I've been suicidal, but there was a point where I didn't want to die, but I didn't particularly want to live. It was like, nah. It was just this flat line of meh.
Yeah.
And my greatest fear was that I'd never find the light again, if you know what I mean, that I'd be stuck in the dark forever. And that's a real fear. And that was mine. But it's,
Mm.
you're right. It does pass. We get better. So what are the optimal conditions for an optimal retreat? How many people? How many events? I guess everyone's different. How you've obviously seen lots and lots of them. How do you optimize them for best bang for the buck, shall we say?
Yes. So I only do small groups of 8 people. So it's 8 guests maximum. And again, that's drawing from my own personal experience of having very, very big groups where I felt a little bit unseen. I didn't get to meet many people because in a big group, somehow people form smaller groups they hang around with for a week. So it's always small groups. It's 8 of us. So it's 10 of us with a yoga teacher and myself. Around the dining table, it's a perfect number. So we eat all together, family style. That's probably my French background.
I was
um,
going to say that's, of course it is.
that's a given. Yeah.
And
So
I bet the food is fantastic. French cooking tends to be very good.
it's nice food. I've got local, yeah. So when we're in India, of course, it's Indian food. When we're in Africa, it's African food. In Cumbria, I have a lovely local caterer. So yes, so it's very wholesome meals. We eat all together and we share, we laugh, we talk rubbish sometimes, obviously. So yes, that's very important. That this feeling of this meaningful human connections,
Mm,
uh, the space to be heard, to be seen, because
mm.
it's a small group. Everybody had the opportunity to express themselves and share and say whatever they have to say. Ask for advice if they need advice on
But I think
something.
we need this as humans anyway, don't we? And there's a profound lack of it. And sometimes
Mm,
from family and friends, and most of the time, it's well intended, but it's really not helpful. Like if someone's got a problem and I find myself getting angry on their behalf, it does sometimes anger me what people
yeah.
do to other people, but that doesn't help the person. Maybe they just do need to be. Is it about finding solutions? Now, this is my male brain. You know what us men are like: fix it, find a solution. Or is it the more generally sort of, and I'm stereotyping here a little bit, the general sort of more female approach of listening and sharing rather than solutions finding and action? But how does it work?
So maybe it's a little bit of both. So sometimes people will ask for advice. Somebody will say, I remember a lovely gentleman, I won't name him, a lovely gentleman from Manchester who
Hmm.
came for a long weekend, and he was having real difficulties with his teenage daughter and his wife. And he said, I need to get away from them for 3 days. And we
Mm.
loved saying, now you're surrounded by 8 women. Are we that going to help? And that's when he
Mhm.
said, at home it's not going well and I'm thinking about leaving. And we all kind of gave a little bit of advice as women. We all gave a little bit of advice. But he spent a lot of time by himself digesting the advice we'd given him, and also looking at his situation from outside, because now he wasn't in his home anymore. He wasn't having an argument with his wife and teenage daughter anymore. We were all he felt cherished, because that the group is very nurturing. And one day he went for a walk by himself and he said, I'm not going to join the group trek. I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I just need a couple of hours to myself. Fine. And when he came back, he was smiling and he said, I feel much better. I've processed a lot of things
Well,
that
we
could have.
need that time to integrate, don't we? I think everything is so instant gratification nowadays. Got a problem, swallow a pill. No, we need time to integrate new learnings and all that sort of thing, and make the changes incrementally. What about if is there a bit of sort of seminar high? In other words, they're in this lovely nurturing womb for a while, this room of love and acceptance, but then they've got to go back to their old lives. What happens then? Yeah, what happens then?
So the group is always here for support. So before a retreat, I always set up a WhatsApp group. So the guests start to chat and get to know each other before the retreat. We share pictures, lots of different things. The groups are always open. So I've got dozens of WhatsApp groups on my phone. And once in a while, someone will pop up and say, hey guys, long time no talk. My teenage son just said this and this. What am I supposed to do? And
Yeah,
we always there. We always there is some sort of bond. There's a long lasting bond, I'm going to call it. So you
yeah,
do bond, yeah, you do bond with people for a
yeah.
few days. You're on the retreat with them, but the bond, we've shared a little bit of a journey together, and that bond is always there. You're always welcome to come back into the group or get in touch with me and ask me for anything, or tell me anything you need to say. You're always welcome. The bond is always there.
Brilliant. So tell us all about the benefits of yoga, because I became aware of yoga, I think when Deepak Chopra popularized it back in the 80s, 90s, because he was still is the grand master of spirituality, isn't the old Deepak? Um, and I I haven't practiced it, but I do know people that do, and they say they wouldn't be without it. It literally means yoke, unite mind and body, isn't it? So that they're operating as one. And I also know people I'm very fond of, where they got a good mind and they got a good body, but do those two ever bloody meet? No, you know.
Absolutely. You're very right. So yoga is not a sport. So it's not a competitive sport. You're
No,
not
no, I get that. It's not competitive. Yeah.
you're not competing against someone else, the person next to you, and you're not competing with yourself either. So how can I say?
Oh, that's interesting. People compete with themselves during yoga, or try
A
to.
lot do, a lot push themselves, um, and it can be very unhealthy.
So
Every
the
day,
traditional sort of Western model of go, 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 push, 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 hustle, hustle, that's the complete antithesis of it. It's
so,
more
so you see,
allowing, yielding, maybe.
for instance, people who jog or people who do any kind of sport, they will say, oh, you run and then you kind of hit a barrier. You need to push yourself. You need to, get over this and push yourself and finish whatever you want to do. So if you're running the marathon, about three quarters in, you're thinking, I'm done here. And they're like, no, 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 you need to push yourself and finish. Well, in yoga, please don't push yourself. If your body doesn't want to do what you want it to do, listen to your body. Today is not the day, and you may be able to do it tomorrow. And that's the beauty of yoga. Every day is different. And
So
once
it's not a punishing regime at all.
No, it's a nurturing regime. So, and also one side of your body can be different from the other. You may be able to do something on the left, bend a certain way on the left, and when you start doing the right side, it's not happening, or it's much
Is
better.
that affected? Because I'm dominant right-handed. Would that make my right side stronger, or is it opposite?
It depends. No, no, I don't think it's anything to do with that because I do my yoga every morning and I
Mm,
notice yesterday the left was better, today it's the right. I didn't sleep very well. There's a back bend I can't do today, but I'll be okay tomorrow. It's
yeah,
okay. It's really is the union of the mind and the body. And
and it's
you
not a race either, I guess. So,
No,
so I
no.
guess there's no finishing line. What's the goal? Is there a goal? It's like saying, where does the universe end? I imagine it's a continuous process of growth, right?
The goal is every time you get on the mat, whether you have 15 minutes, half an hour, is to take that time for yourself and look after yourself, listen to your body. Today, maybe your left leg is not right. Just listen to your body. It's just that precious, precious time between you and yourself with no outside distractions. I mean, you can go jogging with a podcast, so you're distracted. Anything you do at the gym, you've got sometimes the videos blaring out. Yoga, it's different. At that time is just between you and yourself.
I don't find those gyms, the really modern ones where they've got a TV and you can be jogging through the back streets of Italy, and it's all very clever and it's all lovely,
Oh,
but
nice.
it's
Mm.
blimmin' noisy. It's
Oh,
not. I wouldn't call it relaxing at
okay,
all.
fair enough. Well, there you go. That illustrates my point.
Very
Yoga
much.
is more, yeah, yoga is more. So you listen to the teacher. She's guiding you, and when it's time to do your meditation, your thoughts may be all over the place. Just ignore them. Go back to your breathing and your heartbeat. Yes, the idea is to have this precious time to yourself. It doesn't need to be long, could be just 20 minutes.
How long
But
do you do every day out of interest?
myself, about 20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes.
But it's every single morning. It's my own,
Yeah.
my own routine.
Yeah. And I suppose your day would feel incomplete now if you didn't do it. I imagine you couldn't live without doing that now.
I love it because what I do is specifically targeting my spine because our spine is the most important part of our body. So I do love 20 minutes of yoga and then a nice cold shower, but that's just me. Not everybody likes a cold shower. I understand that.
Well, apparently that's really good for you, though, isn't it? As Mr. Wim Hof has demonstrated to us. Yeah,
Yes,
apparently it takes a bit of getting used to, I must say, but you
yes.
do feel quite invigorated afterwards. My boiler's not working, so I've only got cold showers at the moment. So
Well, there
this
you go. And
my house
add
is a permanent Wim Hof retreat at the moment.
without the price tag.
I know, yeah. Now, Paul Claridge, long-time friend of the show. Morning, Paul. My friend is a yoga teacher. She has been for the best part of 25 years. She teaches Kundalini. I want to ask you about that in a minute. But herself, she practices Ashtanga. In recent years, she encouraged me to take up yoga. She teaches me it's grueling, but it helps me to relax, reset my mind, and I've also lost weight.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's lovely,
Mm.
isn't it?
So
That's
which yoga do you practice? Because there's so many. There's Hatha, Ashtanga, Kundalini.
um,
They're the ones I've heard of. Kundalini.
yeah, Ashtanga flow I really like. There is something called the Five Tibetans, which I do every morning, and
Is that
that's
the five rights?
yes, the five
Is one
rights.
of
Yes,
those spinning?
Yeah, the first you start with spinning,
I've
and
seen that. I've seen that. I read a book on that ages ago. Yeah, the five rights.
so that's what I practice every morning, and I've added to it. There's different styles. Try the different styles and see the one that suits your personality and your body better. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
when it comes to things like this, we've got to get out of the ideas of number one, competition, number two, right and wrong, because
absolutely. Yeah,
I suppose in all the spiritual books I've read, in the thinking of the universe, if I may, there is no ultimate right or wrong. It just is, or it
absolutely.
isn't, or cause and effect, or whatever. But it's
Mm,
not. The universe isn't a moral guardian, shall we say?
absolutely not exactly right or wrong. What does it mean?
And
Sometimes,
certainly when it comes to something like, I mean, there are things in the world which I consider wrong, and there's many that
yeah,
I consider
absolutely, yeah.
right. But that's my human mind, you know,
Mm.
and the universe, I suppose, just is. I don't, I don't know.
No, no,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. There's no
that-
right or wrong. So yes. So please, people out there, give yoga a go. If you've never done yoga, you will be pleasantly surprised.
okay, Dr. Asa, another nice long comment here. I don't know if you've considered it, but I would highly recommend having a list of clinical practitioners available for those you're serving. Please feel free to reach out because I have many other suggestions that I recommend.
Oh,
Neil, I absolutely love Deepak Chopra and his work. Also love yoga. Florence, I'd recommend having a clinician as a resource for your retreats. By the way, I too am all about the mind-body connection. Personally, I spend each day meditating and we never know. He might say an ice bath. That could be what he's going to say next. In an enchanted tunnel. I don't know what. Don't leave us hanging, Dr. Asa.
mm,
Um, okay, now Kundalini. I
yes.
I read about Kundalini, and apparently it's the energy coiled like a snake or a rope in the base of our spine, right? In the root chakra, apparently. And the goal of Kundalini yoga is to bring it up through the body. Help me out here.
Well, and unfortunately, Neil, I'm not a specialist on Kundalini. Um, I'm sure that some of your listeners probably know better about it than we do. I've worked with Kundalini teachers before, but I have not practiced a lot myself. It's the reason why I haven't practiced with them a lot. It's very repetitive because it does the repetition of the asanas of the movements kind of it's to do with your energy. It doesn't suit me.
Right.
It's not the kind of yoga that I
No,
really
I
like.
understand. So it's unfair to press you on it. But
For
I read,
some people love it and swear by it, and I
I read
know
somewhere that sometimes the awakening of energy can be very dramatic.
that's
Um,
right. Yes.
Even I've heard dangerous if not practiced right. That's what I wanted to ask, and I'd find it hard to believe that.
Oh, dangerous.
See, I don't know what the sources were, but apparently, if the energy awakens very quickly, I suppose, how can I put it? Um, When I was younger and lazier than I am now, my girlfriend at the time bought this weight loss thing, and it was these electrified patches that you would stick on, and you'd turn it
Oh,
on to number one, and it would flex the muscles, flex the muscles, flex the muscles. And I was just awful. I was sitting there eating Haagen-Dazs and crisps, and I know, a terrible thing to say to a yoga practitioner. I'm so sorry, um, but I put it on 10 by mistake, and suddenly, it really hurt. But if I did it incrementally and slowly, I could go up to 10 and it would be fine. That's kind of the analogy. Asa Don Brown said, oh no, Paul Claridge, yoga is something which everyone can do. You don't have to be super fit to have a flexible body. Breathing, oh yeah, I want to talk about breathing, is a large part of the practice, and at least Kundalini, and meditation is part of the practice. Not everyone can do a downward facing dog. And Asa gets a great comments. Asa says, personally, I spend each time meditating in a state of conscious breathing. Why is breath so important in all these disciplines?
breath is everything. The minute you're not breathing anymore, you're dead. Breath is life. So I know, so I've had some people kind of mocking the way we put so much importance on breathing and breathing right. But when a
Mocking.
baby is mocking, yes, I've had people
Wow.
say, why do you need to spend 20 minutes a day concentrating on your breath? Um, well, breath is life. When a baby is born, the first thing we do is check its breathing. That's the first thing we say. We don't say, does he have beautiful hair? No, is he breathing? Breath is
Probably
everything.
not. Yeah.
And also, most of us don't breathe very well. It's shallow
No, this is
breathing.
it. Isn't it interesting that the things that are governed by our unconscious minds, we do on autopilot, breathing,
Mm,
eating, and that sort of thing. There's so many human beings that aren't very good at it, you
mm,
know, which considering we've been on this planet 4 billion years or whatever, in one state of evolution or another, it doesn't really make sense to me that none of us are taught how to breathe, or none of us are taught how to eat properly, or preventative health and all that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's an indictment on the state of the world, um, or what. But I also notice that people that breathe from their shoulders tend to be, number one, visual people and very kind of anxious. They're breathing here. The lower down you breathe, the calmer you tend to be. The diaphragmatic breathing, you know, um, from the diaphragm, is the healthy one, isn't it? And the higher up the body you go, and
yes.
if you breathe from your neck, that's when you're close to death, apparently.
No, no,
So I don't know why people would mock. I mean, that just shows pure ignorance to me.
no, of
Breath is
course.
everything.
Of course it does, but no, I think we need. You're right. We do it instinctively, and it keeps us alive. But I mean, I'm a shallow breather. I don't breathe very well, and yet I've been practicing. I've been into this for 25 years now, and I still
Mm.
catch myself not breathing properly, breathing through our mouths. So there is a very interesting TED talk, and I can't remember. I think it's called something like "Keep Your Mouth Shut," something like that. And it's all about breathing through your nose and not through your mouth when you make an effort. So, for instance, when if I've got to go up 10 flights of stairs, eventually halfway through, I'm starting to struggle. And I will remember to not breathe through my mouth and breathe through my nose. And I mean, there's lots of different techniques, and all of them are very, very useful.
There's
And
a book I read a while ago by Jamie Wheel. I don't know if you've heard of it. And the title's very dramatic. Please don't be put off by the title, but it's called Recapture the Rapture, Rethinking God, Sex and Death in a World That Lost Its Mind. And that sounds like something written by a complete nutcase, but actually it's very down to earth and grounded, and there's an awful lot of science in there. It exposes errors in thinking of a lot of people that think that way rather than telling you to think that way, if you know what I mean.
mm,
And with backed with really, really good science. And there's a whole chapter, a whole section of the book. There's like 5 pillars of it or something, and one of them is breathing. And
yeah,
he's taken out breath work to cure people of PTSD. Done these big retreats. Where the war veterans and all that sort of thing, with these terrible PTSD memories that keep coming up and triggers, and they're healing, and it's just through breath alone. No drugs, no
absolutely,
drugs, no counselling,
absolutely,
no drugs, just breath.
absolutely. I mean, in a way, it's what Wim Hof is teaching us when he's asking people to go into icy water. It's all about breathing. If you breathe properly, it's almost like you don't feel the cold. So when I take my cold showers, I pay attention to my breathing, and somehow I don't feel the cold so much.
Well,
Um,
if you get in a cold shower, I think I read this in, because I think you're obviously familiar with Dr. Michael Mosley,
mhm.
who we
Oh, yeah.
tragically lost. Wasn't that
Oh,
awful?
oof, absolutely shocking.
That
Yes,
really did affect me, and
it's me.
I loved that guy. I thought he was fantastic. What a terrible loss. But I read in his books that when you get in a cold shower, you'll naturally go, oh,
Yeah.
and you're forced to breathe deep. You have to, because you catch your breath, don't you? It
Yes.
catches you.
Yeah, but what you can do as well, you've got that first intake, like you say, the
Mm.
shock, and then you stop breathing. Somehow you've got that deep breath, and then you're in shock and you stop. And that's what not to do. You need to breathe out and in and out and in. And sometimes when we're
I started to learn some breath work. I traded with a friend of mine. She wanted to learn how to DJ, and I wanted to learn breath work. So she was spinning the discs, and I was learning how to breathe properly. Not at the same time. I don't think you could combine those two. um,
you could
but
try.
there's an awful lot to it, and it is, and the phrase has been used, conscious breathing, which I suppose is again paying attention to what you're doing. It's conscious, it's breathing with mindfulness, I suppose, isn't it?
So
Are you okay for time, by the way?
I
Do
am
you?
okay for time, Neil. I am. Yes.
Okay, good. Um, Paul Claridge says,
Oh, So,
Neil,
so,
you've
so I like the fact that you brought up mindfulness. So this is
yes,
also something we do on a retreat because you're not in your usual environment and setup. We do things more mindfully. So when we go on a trek, and Cumbria is gorgeous, we will
yeah,
stop. We will stop and just look at the clouds running in the sky. We will pay attention to the flowers and it's just those little moments where we stop and we just look at a bee on a flower. We don't have time to do that in our everyday life, so it's nice to stop and remember.
I mean, I think the world would be a lot safer if everyone practiced mindfulness an awful lot. I
Yes.
really do. I
Yeah.
remember Ruby Wax, who's been a big proponent of mindfulness. Have you read her books on it, by the way?
I have not
Um,
read a book, but do follow Ruby Wax. She makes a lot of sense.
she does, and she's obviously very funny with it. But yes, she does, and she talks about mindful driving. And I think, goodness me, if everyone were mindful on the roads, it would be, you know, I think that would have a greater effect than reducing all the speed limits to 20 miles an hour. Personally, just mindful driving. But no one's mindful. You know, pedestrians aren't. They walk out and they're looking at their phone or
Yeah.
whatever like that. I do think the roads have become more dangerous. I really, really do.
We,
Asa, mindfulness is such an important aspect of self-care. No
absolutely.
disagreement for me there, Dr. Asa.
We do so many things on autopilots,
Yes, we
you
do.
know.
I mean, we need the autopilot because without it, we'd have to, I don't know, relearn how to drive a car every time we went up to one, or relearn how to open a door. We need that autopilot, but the
That's
problem
fair
is,
enough. Yes.
so we need that aspect of our mind. The problem is we've given all of that to
That's
that.
right.
When
It's
some
overta-
things need
it's,
conscious awareness, you know.
it's overtaken. That's right. There needs to be the right, the just measure, the right balance of
Yes.
autopilot
Yeah,
and being mindful. So autopilot has got like a plane. You wouldn't expect the pilot to be on autopilot the entire 12 hours. They
I'd hope
do.
not.
They are here for takeoff and landing, and if anything happens. But it's okay. There's a bit in the middle. There's a section in the middle where the plane may be on autopilot, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Happens on every flight, and that's okay. However, they are present and mindful when it matters. And I think that's how it should be in our lives.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Paul Claridge, Neil, you've almost hit the head on the nail about Kundalini. I'm no, excuse me, expert, but my friend does teach it to me and many others. As with all exercise, there are risks, which is why you need to find a good teacher that will lead the sessions properly and help participants throughout the session. And Kimmy Lashmar, I'm listening while see, it can be the simple things, can't it? Can't it, Florence? I'm listening while rearranging my pots on the patio, taking time to see each plant makes me love life.
Oh my God, I love this. Oh,
What are
Timmy,
you
you're
growing, Kimmy?
great.
Come on, I don't normally talk about horticulture because
Oh,
I'm supposed to be cool.
fantastic. Fantastic. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this afternoon, actually. I need to repot some of my plants, and I was going to cycle to a well-known DIY chain and buy some
You can say its name on here, by the way. But
there is a B&Q not so far
yeah,
from me, so I was going to
yeah, that's fine.
cycle.
We're not Ofcom related. You can swear if you want to as well. It's fine.
No, no, I wouldn't dare.
I
But
know you wouldn't, but I wouldn't put it past myself. Don't worry.
but
You're
well
far
done to
too
me.
classy a lady. Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend's planted a load of plants in my garden, so I've got tomatoes now, which are nice, and strawberries, and lots of herbs, and chili plants.
Amazing.
They're very easy to grow. Chili plants. Yeah.
Amazing. For the first time this year, I've planted tomatoes. I've got about 4 small ones. So I'm not going to be rich in tomatoes, but to see life growing from nothing, from a seed. I
And it
think it's
also
absolutely
shows the
beautiful.
abundance principle in the universe, doesn't it? Because most of us walk around thinking, "What a lack! What a lack! What a lack!" But all right, take an apple. Inside there is probably enough to grow 20 apple trees.
Absolutely.
Each one might produce 200 apples, and then multiply that by the amount of seeds in 200 apples, and it's absolutely algorithmic, isn't it? So there's no
Yeah.
there's no shortage in nature. Here we go. Dahlias and roses, and you should see the size of my cucumber. Don't. I don't know what you mean, Kimmy. I'm not even sure what you mean by that, but I'm sure it's a lovely cucumber because nobody likes a gherkin. So when's the next retreat, Florence?
Oh, I've got September. I've only got a couple of places left, but we're going to Cumbria in September. We're going back to, I even have a weekend retreat without any yoga. I've teamed up with a lovely doctor from Huddersfield, and it's all about navigating life's setbacks, let's say. So you don't have to be into yoga to join that weekend in September. I've got November as well because it's a different dynamic. So we go walking in the morning. You know it's nice and fresh, but we come back and we gather around the fireplace. And we can stargaze early because it's dark early. So
Oh, I love the
it's a
sound of that.
different dynamic.
Oh,
November is
round the fire pit, gazing at the stars. That sounds
yeah,
absolutely
no,
magical.
November is very popular. And
Yeah,
then I'm
yeah.
taking a group to India in January. We're going from Udaipur to New Delhi via the Taj Mahal. That's very special because we see India um, off the beaten track. Uh,
Yes. Where's your favourite place in the world?
oh, oh, you shouldn't have. No, no, you went there. Oh,
Sorry.
I love India. I do have a real love affair with
Mm,
India.
mm.
It's a country for people who have been, know. So if you know, you know. People who haven't been need to know that
And
India.
this is India off the beaten track. We're not talking partying in Goa. We're talking.
No, no, no. I'm talking about seeing, a different side to the
Yeah.
country. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people, and it
Yes.
really touches your soul. I always
Mm,
say, you come back from India a different person from when you went. It does something to you on on a cellular level. I'm not a scientist.
maybe.
I
Yeah.
can't explain.
Yeah.
South Africa is beautiful with really nice people.
I've
Uh,
heard this. My girlfriend used to work with lions on a lion sanctuary in South Africa. To the point where the lion would recognize you when you came back years later
oh,
and would come and jump up. You know, these
oh
magical
my
things that
God,
you see on the YouTube videos and that.
that's magical.
Um,
That's
Now I have
magical.
to ask you because you're French. Your French cuisine is amazing. What is your signature dish?
Well, um, I make some really nice salads. So I'm vegan, so it's
Ah,
not heavy sauces or whatever the French eat. But I'm from the south, so it's pretty much the Mediterranean diet. A lot
which
of
is super healthy, isn't it?
super healthy avocados, tomatoes, olives. Um, I make some really nice salads.
Do you find it difficult being vegan? Because I could do vegetarian at a push, but giving up cheese and eggs, I don't think I could do it.
No, so I stopped. eating meat as a teenager. My grandparents had a dairy farm somewhere in the
Because of
middle.
taste or because of morals?
No. I was an animal rights activist as a teenager. So my grandparents had a dairy farm, and I understood very young what was happening, and I didn't want to be part of this cycle of
I
abuse.
understand.
So,
You sound very much like my girlfriend, and I really respect her values
mm.
on it.
And
Yeah,
then I turned vegan about 15 years ago. And actually, I would say that a vegan diet is healthier than a vegetarian diet.
well, what I learned from my girlfriend is that not all vegetarians are healthy necessarily. Not
No,
necessarily. Not all
no,
vegans are healthy necessarily.
no,
It could
no,
be
no, no.
vegan and full of sugar. It could be
Absolutely.
vegetarian and full of whatever. Yeah,
Yes.
not necessarily. The interesting thing with my girlfriend is she still loves the taste of meat, but she won't eat it for the similar reasons to yourself. But so her favorite things would be like plant-based kebab, for example. I don't know if you've
Mm,
tried that, and it's delicious. It tastes just like the doner
mm.
kebab, which I might have eaten a few of in my time, but it's lovely, and you would not know you were eating plant. I think the choice has improved so much now. The market for vegetarian and vegan food has really grown, and it's become a lot more nuanced now, and it's really much better than it used to be. It's probably easier to be a vegan nowadays, I would have thought.
Absolutely. But it's all about, for me, it's all about the love for vegetables. I love vegetables
Mm,
in any guise. So it could be a stir fry one day, and then
mm,
it could be, some I don't know, North African dish the following day. It's the
mm.
same vegetable. A carrot is a carrot, or an aubergine is an aubergine. It's all comes from the spicing, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, very much so. Well, it's been a fascinating to talk to you. Good luck with absolutely everything. If people would like to learn more about your work, it's all the W's, yoga, retreats, and more.com. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Neil. And thanks to all your listeners. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Merci bien. À la prochaine.
Merci. Merci. À bientôt.
Good afternoon. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Florence, what an absolutely lovely guest. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon. Always appreciate your patronage. Just to let you know, the king of the cravats, Phil Dave, will be here. All been well, Russ will on Friday as well, but Phil certainly will be. And Jonathan Bass, theatre critic, and Screen Queen Chantal Ricard, telling you all the really cool things to be watching on TV. And anyone knows it, she certainly does as well. Just to wish you a good afternoon. Good luck with your cucumber, Kimmy. And I really don't know what you mean by don't go there. I'm an innocent boy and don't understand that kind of thing. Russ and the gang, I'll see you Friday. All the very best. Oh, and wish me luck with my comedy show. I'm doing 45 minutes on Friday night in Herne Bay, the Giddy Heights. Take care. Good afternoon.